to each and every participant to the 6th day of our 7-day national webinar on exploration of opportunities for women empowerment. Welcome you, Madam. The resource person for today is Dr. D. Uthra, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Physics, GG Vaishnav College, Chennai. I extend a warm welcome to our resource person, Professor D. Uthra. On behalf of the Manonmaniam Sundaranar University and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to you, ma'am, for the 6th day of our 7 days national webinar organized by the Center for Women Empowerment and Women Studies of Manonmaniam Sundaranar University. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Is it audible?
Hand over the section to the resource person. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, Manonmaniam University, as well as the Center for Women Empowerment and Women Studies, for giving me, once again an opportunity to talk in the same national webinar on exploration of opportunities for women empowerment. Today, I will try to highlight the schemes for persons with intellectual disabilities. I'm not going to cover the entire physical disability. Instead, it is about intellectual disabilities, right? How we can integrate with inclusive education. Yes, let's start. Now, are you willing? Here is the, college admission, the higher education. Are you willing to take the child or take the candidate or take the student up who is very worried, who has no directions? Are you ready to give him the direction? Right? With that note, I would like to start this. And as a parent or a teacher or an administrator who may be watching, who may be a participant of this national seminar, or who may be watching this video later point of time, we are basically worried. We are confused. I want to help, but I do not know how to help. I'm not sure whether my authority will allow me to help. Is it within my purview? Can I help? What best decision can I take to help? And now I need help. I seek help to help somebody else. How should I seek help? As a teacher, as an administrator, as a parent, all the rules, everything is not clear to us. We don't have all the ways in front of us so that you can take an easy road. No, it's not going to be so easy. So how am I going to seek help? Find themselves. Most of the time we find ourselves at crossroads. How are we going to help ourselves and them? So whatever it is a challenge. And as I said, today I'm not going to cover the entire PWD. Instead, I'm going to take only a small portion because it's a vast ocean. Our entire life may not be enough. But our entire life, all the participants, along with us, along with the teachers, as a parent, if we put it like how we do it for calculating man hours in the college timetable, if we are able to contribute so many man hours, I think it is possible. We need to continue this kind of, being voice for the voiceless, because it is a continuous journey. It can never stop, I tell you, because each seeker, each person with a particular disability, and especially with intellectual disability, they have different needs. They are very, very unique, because we as teacher know very well that one student is not same as another student. So their talents are different. At the same times, their challenges are also different. So we need to be, continuous seeker for information and knowledge who can update ourselves and upgrade ourselves. If at all we want to do this, and it is not an easy joke. Standing there and trying to help somebody come up is not very easy, even by the laws of physics. It's not easy. But we are here, determined, to do this, right? So, to start with, the title says intellectual disability. What is it all about intellectual disability, right? All these things are there in the RPWD Act. So, as we go through, I'll handhold you throughout the journey. So you need not take notes or anything. So I would request you to, just pay attention to the bold letters. This intellectual disability covers two major categories: specific learning disabilities and autism spectrum disorder. Specific learning disabilities is again a spectrum. It's like an umbrella. It covers a lot of things. And here in the word autism spectrum, it already says it's a spectrum. Yes? For us, for most of us, spectrum is nothing but WIBGR: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. So here, in case of autism spectrum, there are different ways how the child or the student or a candidate may be affected by autism. Each is going to be different. And special learning difficulties, again, they are all different. Each one is different. Now we call it as SLD. Yes, specific learning disabilities. Now, how is it going to hurt the child or the learner? To be honest, to be frank, as if you're all teachers, probably you may try to recollect some of the students whom you have been already handling. You'll feel, oh, 10 years back, I remember that student. These things I spotted in him. You know that? Oh, now I understand this is the name. Oh, I wish I was able to help him. But, I have helped him to some extent. This is what many of the participants may be thinking in your mind after 5 minutes. Once I reveal what it is. Now, what is it? What is that? It's a deficit in processing the language. Please understand, processing the language, spoken or written. Some children have, it's because it's a neural problem. How your neurons, your brain process something. They may not have problem with the spoken. They may have in written. They may not have in written, but they may have it in spoken, or they may have, partially spoken and written. And this may manifest in different ways, which we call it as dyslexia, lexicon, reading, writing, dysgraphia, drawing and then again writing, dyscalculia, maths. Many of you will be thinking, oh, I was like, after 10th standard, I said, when is the day that I would leave maths? But everybody doesn't have, all those people who wanted to leave maths or physics doesn't necessarily have SLD. So let us also remember that. This is typically a problem which can be assessed by people like psychiatrists and psychologists or counselors. Dyspraxia and developmental aphasia. And again, autism, how does it affect? It could be, most of the person, they have difficulty in communicating, understanding the relationship between a mom and the child. How to handle the relationships. The child doesn't understand how to even handle the relationship and how to relate to others. So as I said, the degree will also be different. So we will come to all those things. So I'm introducing two words right now, or rather three words: intellectual disability. Under that, there are two categories: specific learning disabilities. I once again want to insist that it is a spectrum. It is not one single thing, one way. It is not like, one single formula, right? 1 + 1 is equal to 2. No, it is not like that. And the next word is autism spectrum disorder. Now, can you please relate yourself with these? In case if you are able to relate, you can type in your YouTube the comment or anywhere. Have you ever? This is very common. See, this is not just typical, or rather, there are many things, because there are many people who can understand this word reversal. I am putting it here. It is not the only problem. There are many things. Word reversal to start with, and try to read this. And there are many children till first standard, they will have reversal. So that doesn't mean every child is going to have SLT. Don't get panicky. No, this is at much later stage. Okay, there every LKG, UKG, first standard child will write like this only. Many of them. That doesn't mean they have SLT. Right? As I said, this cannot be assessed by just by looking at one answer sheet or anything. It's a battery of tests with which they assess. Now, this is another example. Just look at this, right? Now, what is this? One of the child whom I know, I was recently doing a YouTube video on dyslexia. One of the child, whenever you say na, this is a Tamil for the other state people who may not know, right? This is Tamil alphabet na. Yes, the child always imagine this na as a dog drinking water. Right? It could not relate it with a word or as a letter per se. Yes? And now, teachers and parents, especially the language teachers, please help. You are the ones who can immediately identify this in your children. At least, you can spot, okay, I have a doubt on this child. Please, doubt doesn't mean the child has SLT. Again and again, I'm trying to insist. You can spot on, the child has been with you to LKG, UKG, first standard, second standard, still there are a lot of problems. It doesn't mean spelling mistakes. It's about processing. The attitude of the teacher is very important. The RPWD Act says our attitude towards the physically disabled and intellectually disabled is something important. Why am I saying this? One of the Tamil teacher I know, he told the child, okay, the child was almost in 6th or 7th standard. He had special learning disability. The Tamil teacher said, no, the problem is with your attitude. You don't want to study Tamil. He was refusing even the concession that the child got. The school did not accept the concession that the government gave and the CBSE board gave. So our attitude has to change. At least, even if as teachers, if we are not going to help them, let us not be a hindrance on their path. Again, for the parents, the attitude is much more important. When somebody says there may be a problem to your child, please go get him assessed. That doesn't mean that your child has some big problem which cannot be solved. If you are going to wake up early, I tell you are going to be very, very helpful for the child. Otherwise, you will miss the bus. Time may come that you may not be able to solve your child's problem. I request the audience, the teachers, the parents here to understand that there can be difficulties, there can be problems, and it can be solved, right? So just look at this. The child, for the child, peacocks. And again, I tell you, this is by a 6th grader, 6th grade native English speaker. Yes, play. I accept many of us, especially if we have studied in Tamil medium, we would have looked at English only this way till 2nd standard, 3rd standard, 4th standard. But this is the work of a 6th standard child. These are all peacocks, right? Here you can look. 5 into 6 is 65. 4 into 2 is 8, but the 4, look at the 4. 5 plus 6 is equal to, yes, left it. There are many small things which you can look at it. If you want a better picture, look at the website of Madras Dyslexia Association. And here, as I said, today I am going to target only on intellectual disabilities, right? Now, when we come to autism, 3 levels which require different kinds of support. It is actually easier for us to give this particular support. Difficulty, those level 1 children have difficulty initiating social interaction. The child is not ready to talk at all. Please, parents, don't jump and say, my child is always with the gadget, so he's not talking, so will he have autism? No. This child has difficulty even in initiating social interaction, like smiling, like saying a hello. There are many children who may be shy. That doesn't mean everybody has autism. We have to be careful. right? As a resource person, I need to be even more careful. I don't want to, instill fear on anyone. Here I am to help you understand something, right? The organizations and planning problems can, the organization as such, the education institutions itself, we may be a hindrance. As I said, the particular teacher, he himself was a hindrance. Yes, the child had to leave the school education. And there is something called as open schooling, which many of us can think of. I'll come to that later, right? So, but we as a school and as a college, as an institution, we have to give them support. We can't throw them away. So there are different levels. Now, are you ready to help them? And as I said, this is again another spectrum. It's a spectrum disorder. What is a spectrum? An umbrella. It has got many components, right? Now, look at these pictures. And I, I request the media people not to show at any cost the movies, the daily soap or the dramas and the TV serials, not to show people with challenges in a particular fashion, right? They need our help, especially this media. I request you, please lend your help. At least don't be our hindrance. Because media is the one which creates images in us, right? That image, most of us are not able to overcome in our professional life, in our parent life, in our social life. So here, you see, particular set of children, and we have a lot of schools, special schools in India, and here, the child is autistic. Not necessarily every child who has some intellectual disability should have very different facial expression. No, not necessarily. When I'm talking about, being an hindrance, the system itself being an hindrance, I would like to quote another example. I think in last webinar also, I think I said that, but I would like to say it again. The school education, there are a lot of good people. There are a lot of people who go beyond their work, their call of duties. Here, the particular lady, he was looking at a special learning disability child and said, "Oh, you don't seem to look like a person with any disability. Why are you here?" And there was problem with the particular office or the particular person in the seat who was not able to give the publish the result of 10th standard for that particular child or a group of children. They forgot. Actually, it was typically a technical error. But then all those children had to face this humiliation. Already the parents and those children's teacher and those kids were already so scared that opening the 10th standard result and you don't find the marks, you see reappear without their fault. It was a technical fault which was rectified much later. But then the question that those children were asked was this: let us promise that we wouldn't ask such questions. That's why I request the media not to give, define those images again and again. This is my big request, right? And yeah, come here. These are the people with intellectual disability, right? Take Einstein, take, your Henry Ford, Edison, Steve Jobs. Yes. And there are companies these days which are looking for dyslexics because they have very special talent. They can think differently. So there are companies abroad who take these people for their job. Here you see, this is the photograph of a toy car. This child, he has autism. He is so good in photography. He is able to, take the pictures of the toy cars as though they look almost real. Here, the size of the image that I have used is very small. But if you actually go to that Google and later on Google the picture that this child has taken, they are awesome. He has certain difficulty, but he has been bestowed with some other ability. But if my system, me as a teacher, me as a caregiver, me as a parent is not ready to accept him, then how will you bring out those talents? right? Currently, in my current year, I have a child who has got a special learning disability. We have online classes. The mother called me and said, Ma'am, give him as much written work as possible. I want you to break his hands. The child cannot write. While the same child, my own student, who is doing BSc Physics, he can draw so beautifully, so beautifully. Every scientist birthday, he'll come up with some scientist pictures which we display happily in our social media pages as well as in my department walls last year. But then the mother was not able to understand his ability. Instead, if he had gone to BSc Fine Arts, BA Fine Arts, probably he can do things better. If he learns designing digital art, he can do things bigger, right? So, as a parent, are we ready to understand? There are a lot of successful people here. So, when a teacher says, please go for assessment, don't shrink yourself as a parent. Don't say, I will not go. I will not do this. I have no problem. No, nothing will happen. Because once you know there is a lot of help outside, you will be able to handle the child. You will definitely be able to handle the child. There are a lot of people to help you all around, and these days everything is online. You can seek help. Only thing is, are you ready to seek help as a teacher or as a parent? So, getting things going. What is inclusive education? Inclusive education means system of education wherein students with and without disability learn together. I include them. Right? And the system of teaching and learning is suitably adapted to meet the learning needs of different types of students with disabilities. Now, tell me, last year, the same November, has any of the participant thought you will be sitting in a webinar through YouTube? Did any of you participant thought that you will be taking online classes through Zoom or Google Meet? You will be preparing, you'll be spending hours and hours preparing your YouTube lectures or your, PPTs. No, had I told you this last year, 12 months ago, you would have laughed at me. So, what has happened? Now the corona has come and it has made me adapt. There are definitely many of the teachers who have crossed 55 years, they have adapted. When I can adapt, when there is something is thrusted on me, I'm ready to adapt. Similarly, can I adapt to help the people with disabilities or with different learning needs? Can I do it voluntarily? Yes, I can. This is what I expect from you. Yes, I can. Those who are ready to promise that you can do your best, please, put it in your comments that you are ready and willing, because it's not about, just saying something and then going home. It's about a promise that we are going to keep to help the students. If not today, take this challenge after 5 years, right? This is all I request you, right? So if I can't learn the way you teach, the child is asking, will you teach me the way I can learn? I think 95% or 99% of the participants here, you would have said, at least in your heart, yes, I am ready to teach. But my problem is, where will I learn how to teach you? Where will I learn how to help you? It is available easily, available free of cost. One thing is, please Google various websites on this topic throughout the world. There are a lot of teaching, learning aids. And here in the country, the Madras Dyslexia Association runs a free program. It's an NPTEL associated program. NPTEL, I think most of you will know, it is by IITs. E-Shikshanam is a free course. Only to take the exam and to get the certificate, you need to pay a very minimal fee, somewhere less than 1,000 rupee or so. You have a lot of assistive devices. And there are a lot of trusts. This Eknath Trust, just imagine, no, along with SNDT Women's University, they are running basics of shadow teaching. Now I am a teacher. I do not know how to teach him, right? And I am not well versed in how to help a person here. Let me just go slightly away. The person has got hearing problem. So I'm going to have a person who can do sign language. So is there anybody who can gel these two? Check what is shadow teaching. There are many special children with different needs. Can I be a shadow teacher? I can understand these people. I can understand this subject. Now I'm going to, it's not translate here doesn't mean, translating each word. It means translating the information, passing on the information from one side to other side. Can I do that? Yes. And Tata Trust is even giving, monthly support to the people who are selected for the course. And now as our universities, as higher education institutes, can we, help our teachers to take part in these courses, to, give some kind of, scholarship for the teachers who are taking these through online. Is it possible? Yes, if we think it is possible. And there are many of us who can afford to learn. These are all designed, developed for elders like us. So it's not going to be very rigorous, or they're not going to ask you to write exams. Right? Can we? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. And we have to. Otherwise, one day will come when once again somebody, the higher authority, will thrust everything on me. I don't want to wait till then. I am a leader. All my participants here are the leaders. That's why you have registered yourself here. So the leaders need not wait for, iron hands. The leaders generally take things forward, and I definitely, I really wish, I request you to do that. So here, when I need to understand what is person with disability, it doesn't mean they need to have, as I said, the physical appearance or anything. It hinders us full and effective participation. Where are we going wrong? Even in the understanding the meanings, we have gone wrong. A person with disability means there is some problem, there is a barrier in him which hinders his full and effective participation in society equally with others. So anything a person has inbuilt, right, which hinders his full participation or effective participation, we call him person with disability. And medical practitioners, later on, certifying authority here, they certify whether they are really disabled, how far, and whether their disability is not, sometimes it doesn't hinder every part of work. It doesn't. So they specifically specify all these things. Just imagine a person has got locomotor difficulty. One of my students has got a locomotor difficulty. I want her to do BSc Physics. It is slightly difficult, but what we have done is we have made a small platform, or mana kind of thing, so where she stands and then she's able to do her practicals very easily. Very, very easily. And we have given her a rod so that she can hold, and we have given her a comfortable bigger stool so that she can sit whenever she wants. So that doesn't bother her when she has taken up BSc Physics. While a person with, who has got visual disability, he may not be able to pursue this. But I had a student with low vision problem. He was able to do it very, very well. So the doctors will specify, let us not decide. Let us go to the certifying authorities. That's why they are there. Let us not decide everything, in the sense, let us not decide against them and then be a hindrance for them. Now there is something called as benchmark disability with not less than 40%. These are why am I stressing these things? I want you to understand and by heart the vocabulary. Because as teachers, as administrators, these vocabulary, it scares us. Once I understand the vocabulary, once I hear these words 4 or 5 times, before any of you joined your particular BCom or BSc or any course, BA course, the typical words in that subject, how many times we would have heard earlier? No. And especially once we go to our doctorate, We heard those words many times. We have started by hearting those words. We are easily using those words. Similarly, when it comes to the PWD challenges, the first thing you're hearing, it may be difficult today, but you keep on hearing, then you come in terms with it, and then you say, yes, I am going to help him, right? So there are people who need high support, because all these terms I have taken from the definitions I've taken from RPWD 2016 Act. Now I know many of you will ask where you can find the Act. Yeah, I'll come to that. That should be the next slide. And when it comes to information ICT tools, innovations, web-based services, electronic print services, and institutions for reception, care, protection, where do we come? We come under education, training, rehabilitation. We all are covered under these, right? Now, as I said, where can I download the RPWD Act? It is very simple. You can read it. You can understand it. You can. All of us who are literate can understand this. It is available, right, on the internet, where, if you to be very specific, Divyangjan website has it. Now you say, one of you want to know whether it is available in Telugu, Malayalam, or Tamil, or Oriya, Hindi, in your own region language. My answer is yes. Where to find that? Yes, ncpedp.org. Yes, you can just put RPWD Act 2016 Telugu, it will come, don't worry. Now online and Google gives us everything. It is there. You want to read it in Tamil? Yes, it is there in Tamil. Very, very clearly specified. Right? First step one for all my participants. Step one is already over, because many of you have said, like, yes, you are ready to, you are promised at heart that you are ready to, be part of it. Probably this is second step. Download a copy of RPWD Act 2016. Right? There are few chapters, very easy. It's not difficult at all to go through, and that I'm going to take only about education. Let's concentrate only on the bold letters. I'm going to admit them without discrimination. Provide education opportunities. This point I want everyone, as a teacher, as an administrator, as a head of a department, as a director, or a center head, am I really admitting them without discrimination? Am I providing education and opportunities? If no, please put a no in your head. Please put it at least. Then there are reasons. I agree with you. I completely agree with you if you are saying no, but I want a no in your mind, because the minute we say accept what the reality is, we can make things better. And is my campus accessible? Am I able to? And here there is something, this word, all the teachers, all the controller of examinations, please by heart this word. My request, reasonable accommodation, which the government has suggested. I'm not asking you to give any extra accommodation. You call it as accommodation, right? I need to accommodate this child, right? Let's understand, you have a parent, some parent has got two or three children, and the last one is kind of very, very weak, and it feels always cold. So imagine that they are going to a higher altitude, or say Ooty or Kodaikanal. What the mother will do is, she will try to cover, or even if it is raining, if it becomes colder, she will attend the third child because it needs more number of blankets. That doesn't mean she doesn't like her other two children. That doesn't mean the father doesn't like the two children and the father likes only the third child. No, it doesn't mean that. Instead, the parents are trying to accommodate the child who needs something else. Can we be that? And provide necessary individualized support. It is not very difficult, I tell you. And detect the specific learning disabilities in children at the earliest, and we talk about revising our syllabus, incorporating this, incorporating innovations, research, methodologies, and other things. Is my pedagogy and other measures suitable for me to say myself, I am inclusive, my department is inclusive? Everything may not be in your hands, I accept, but let's put those things as layers and layers. So one day when you are given a chance, will you do it? There are people who may not be able to do these things in your own place. But then we go as to other colleges for IQAC, for to be a part of BOS, Board of Studies, as a guest, as a speaker. Will I be able to convey these things there? Right? It even says you have to help the attendant of those children with needs. In case a child has got needs higher support. So now many of the teachers will ask me, if it is education, to establish adequate number of teacher training institutions is must, according to this RPWD Act, to train and employ teachers, to train the professionals and staff to support inclusive education at all levels of school education and of course higher education. When we look at our colleges or higher institutions, we sometimes feel there are not many numbers of these people. That doesn't mean people don't have problems. It means the child has already left the stream. Yes. If possible, I request everybody, to watch the YouTube videos of IRS Nandakumar, the civil servant who fought against his intellectual disability, and then who's in the topmost level. And if people can come there, what can we do to help the children, the students, to come there, right? Please watch that. So where can I train the professionals? As I said, e-Shikshanam, and there are multiple such things in every state. In case if you are a person from some other state, you can register in this, as well as your state may be having a lot of programs. We can. And again, this PPT, here I've given a lot of national institutes which work for RPWD, sorry, for the PWD people. And these you can very well Google national institutes working for PWD. So they have lot of courses, short-term, long-term training courses. Now, if there is somebody here who is associated with academic staff colleges, or we call as HRD centers for the teachers, is it possible to include these kind of programs in our along with our orientation, along with the refresher courses, as well as separate courses for 3 days, 5 days, 1 week? It will be a great thing if one of the universities can do it. So many parents will be obliged to you, so many teachers will be obliged to you. I tell you, please think, because we have funds, the universities have fund. So they are thinking of different ways of hosting webinars or training programs, FDPs. Is it possible to collaborate with people who can teach teachers about intellectual disability? Can you please think of? So use appropriate augmentative, that is devices, alternative modes including braille, sign language, and there are many, as I said, AVAs, an assistive device. Can we provide in our libraries? When NAC visit comes, IQAC thing comes, we buy a lot of learning materials. Can we buy a few at least for these people? Can we subscribe to the magazines which are PWD friendly? There are many magazines which don't need subscription. There are many things which are free of cost. Can we, as teachers, we need to spot them and then tell the librarian, right? So students with disabilities can study free of cost. We can have suitable modifications in curriculums. We can give them extra time for exam. These amendments are there in many of the universities. So can every university do this? Why are we doing this? Because of the SDG goals, which tells us, which in India is also part of it, and says we have to give equitable and inclusive education. I'm going to talk about a few of the accommodations, the facilities like providing RAM, sign language interpreter, scribe. Can we have a bank of scribe addresses? Concessions, additional 20 minutes for every hour of exam. If there are some science people, don't ask me, ma'am, how can we give all this extra time? It is not possible. No, it is possible. Even in IIT JEE, even in the highest exam called as GATE exam, they are giving these concessions and exemptions, lower passing cutoff, including IIT. You can go visit the IIT websites, which JOESS, I think. So they give, I don't know whether it is IIM or NID, all of them have low cutoff for Children with SLD. Again, I'm talking about SLD. Of course, all PWD candidates get lesser cutoff. Are we doing it in our colleges? Are we doing it? Are we definitely doing it? Reservation. Reservation. In it sometimes it comes as OC PWD, BC PWD, or SC PWD, ST PWD. It comes like that, or sometimes if they rotate it, or sometimes what happens is in general they give PWD reservations. Is my university giving? Is my college giving? Check it. Yes. So be supportive. And how to be aware of these rules and process. Are we aware? In case once we are aware, we can bring changes. Can we collate these? So as I said, 5%, not 3%, 5% reservation in exams, and lower cutoff, right? And as I said, even in IIT, you look at this, you have different things. And if you are a parent listening to this, or if you are a teacher who wants to help your child, remember, go look at the website much earlier and find out what are the see if the child is going to join after 2 years. Now you have to start working on it, because it needs a lot of certificates to be produced by the child or by the parent, and they give scribe extra time, rotation of reservation. So you have to bear all these things in mind, right? So you look here, the cutoff is much lesser, as well as you have reservation, right? Even in JEE Advanced this year, I am a PWD candidate who is benchmark PWD candidate. Can I have a scribe? It says yes. Even in GATE, it is the same. It says yes. I am a PWD kid with benchmark disability. Will I get extra compensatory time? Yes. And will I get scribe? Yes. Will I get compensatory time? I want only one. I don't want both. Yes, you are allowed even for that. You can choose what you want, right? You need not trust. So these conditions, please start. If you're a parent who has a PWD child, or if you know some PWD child, if the child is right in 6th standard, start looking for these opportunities. Let us not wake up at the last minute and then run. Sometimes it is not possible, because I tell you that also. So waiver in mess fee is happening in University of Delhi, right? And concessions for differently abled students. Do we really need basic Tamil for dyslexic students? They can be exempted, because in autonomous college it is possible. Even in universities it is possible. The exam pattern should it always be writing. Now after Corona, most of us have shifted towards other modes. Can't we do those? And leniency overlooking spelling mistakes, and amanuensis for all courses, right? So AICT, engineering, MBA, MCA, everything, everyone gives these concessions. And UGC gives already grant for remedial classes. Are we sure about how to go with these remedial classes? For the intellectually disabled, are we trained? How to go about this? As I said, in GATE exam also, you have these. So GATE is the highest science exam. Many of the language teachers will accept. Many of the commerce teachers, arts teachers will say, yes, we are ready. But the science teachers, when we allow them to the lab, why have I showed the thing in IIT? Right? I have a reason. Because the science people will immediately say, no, how is it possible? Will something happen in the lab? I am scared. No, I am scared. That is all. The truth is, I am scared. The truth is not, they should not be allowed. The truth is, they have to be you have to hold the hands, for which I have to overcome my fear. Let's overcome our fears. Yes, let us seek help. Now, private universities, I do not know how many universities do this. If possible, let us educate them too. Awareness. Let's create awareness. Mumbai University gives at one point of time, it gave consolidated grace marks of 20 for every 1,000 marks. As I said, error of spelling and grammar, the minute, if you remember the earlier slide, if the child is dyslexic, throughout it carries on with the spelling mistakes. The child leaves the system. It says, I'm, to hell with the system. I'm failing every month, every week I'm failing. I don't want to continue my education. I'm sorry, it leaves. Who is the reason? The teacher in me, the parent in me is the reason. That's all I can say. right? The questions should be formatted differently for them. Why not we make things different, right? So there are many curricular adaptations which we can do, and now there are problems. One of the new aspirant with learning a disability, this is old news though, standard as no authority was there to issue the certificate. Why have I chosen this? Because you need to get all your certificates ready much earlier. Be proactive. If you're a parent, be proactive, because the process is long. Process is very long. The government has kept it because it has its own stringent rules. These rules have to be followed, otherwise we know how people may misuse these concessions. Fine, so let us be proactive. Yeah, just a second. Right, this was there in earlier Tanset, where here it was not given special learning disability, while it spoke about visual and hearing impact, but this year they have changed. They call it as different. The section is totally different. Differently abled person. Once again, you have reservation, and if you look at it, they need a medical board certificate with minimum 3 doctors to apply for the Tanset exam. Now, where is the difficulty? Now, the child has already been identified by the medical board. I'll be finishing in few minutes. Has been already, maybe the child might have got some concessions in the school during his class 10, class 12. Right? Once again, when I have to enter the college, please, for heaven's sake, do not ask them to undergo this entire test, because SLD and many other problems, they are permanent. So once again, and the doctors, because the who can give, it is not just the any doctor. You have to go to the medical board. So if it is Chennai, you have to go to KMC or Rayapeta Medical Hospital or Stanley Medical Hospital, depending on your residence. And then you have to apply, and there are many people who apply like this, and the number of doctors in government hospitals and those who can certify them is very less, and they have so much of work. Why should I ask them for the same certificate again and again? If possible, if at all, you say my university has all these concessions, but I insist that he gets it once again during the entry or when he writes his first year exam. Please, for heaven's sake, don't do that. He has already been certified by the doctor. Don't make him run just before the exam. It is not fair, because it's a very long process. Not only that, it is not a happy process, I tell you, especially getting these certificates, and especially for the intellectually disabled people, getting these certificates and for the parents, it is not a happy process. It's a sad process. It will tear you into pieces, right? And doctors don't have so much resources or time to assess again and again and then give you the same certificate. Can we request these authorities to change the format? Why? Because this is from National Institute of Design or by the IITs, which give, the MDA can give, or there are many other agencies which they recognize. How they give you is based on the earlier assessment. These form by certified people can be produced. So this child who has already undergone assessment earlier need not it's a process. I tell you, it's not Monday affair, or it is not a 2-hour affair. It's a very long process. Please read about it. It pains a mom. It pains a teacher. It has to be that. There's no other go. There's no need to dilute the system, but instead let us not make the child undergo the same test again and again. And most of us, yes, it's almost time for me to end the talk. Most of us think PWD means only the problems with physical disability or locomotor challenges, and we have this image. No, today I was talking to you about intellectual disability, which is a totally different character. So we are even stereotypical in our minds. Yes, let us not be suspicious when our teacher says, please take your child for assessment. When a school says, take him for assessment, take her for assessment, let us not, postpone it. And now, These will be pictures. This is Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology of our country. You just look at it. It says it is in a particular way. And the same thing, you look here, it comes in red color. Why? This is to help the people who have visual disability of color. They cannot see particular colors, they can see other colors. So the same website has been created in different ways. Where is the button? Yes, it's here. If you look at it very carefully, no, you will see the color will change. You have dark blue, you have a green. If you press green, it will look green. If you press dark blue, it will look like this. It will look green in color. Do our websites, the university websites and college websites, have such a facility? And if you see here, you have the font can change. And you have screen reader access. It will read for the person. And here it is for the Divyangyan NIEPMD website. You look the same website. Yes, the same website. It will come in 4 different colors depending on which button you choose. See, same website. Because there are millions of people who cannot see particular colors. They're color disabled. They come under PWD category. Should my website not be designed? We have BSc, IT, MSc, other IT, this IT, engineering IT, computer science. Why are we not designing even our websites this way? This is my question, right? If you look at AICT website, I'm not too sure. I see only A plus A minus. That is, fonts can be changed. I don't see anything else. Or am I missing something? This is the AICT website, but it has got screen reader access. Am I missing something? This is IIT Madras website. They have certain things. They don't have all the features. IIM website doesn't. I at least don't see the features. Here again, I find IIT Delhi. It has the font feature alone. National Law School doesn't have any feature, or at least I fail to see. Why? Why? These are all the top institutes of the country. Am I missing something? Can I raise it in the public grievance? How can I be a positive change maker? Because all of us have adhered ourselves to development of web content WCAG2, which is led on by a consortium. Why am I not doing even that? Is my portal accessible to the person with disability? So even during application, you're gone. You can't even apply. Come on, go. Or you need to take help from 100 people. Why? Can we introduce this as a challenge in our colleges, or a paper, or a unit in our curriculum? Right? So all the scholarships, everything is available in UGC website. UGC website has all these features actually, right? And this is a photograph of a college. Are these any way accessible? During the exams, we are supposed to provide, the best things. Are we doing all these things? Do our admission applicants, in our admission application, do we have space for PWD? Do we have applications for NIOS candidates, open schooling candidates? IIT JEE accepts open schooling. NID accepts open schooling. Everybody accepts. Is my university accepting? In that case, is my college or is my university able to put all the subjects for NIOS candidates also? Recently, I had to come with this issue that we are used to maths, physics, chemistry, biology group, commerce, accountancy, this and this group, business, maths, and computer science group. So, but open schooling has a lot of combinations. The child can choose, the candidate can choose, but in our websites we are not enabling that. So the child who is from NIOS cannot apply to our colleges. In our admission council, in admission committee, do we know about the process, how to include these children? Do we have any network with the district hospital or GH, whom we call them competent authorities to issue these certificates? Unless the colleges know, how will you guide the parent who is applying? When the child has joined, when he has to apply for the exam, when he asks for concession, how will you help him to get the certificate from the competent authority? Because I myself, I don't know who is the competent authority. Why can't we hold workshops, seminars with the psychiatrists, psychologists, and other doctors authorized by the government to certify these PWDs? Why can't we have workshops with them? So this will help the teachers to be the voice. Because teachers, we don't know what to do. We want to help. We want to help every child. And especially during Corona, the entire world has seen how teachers go beyond the call of duty, beyond everything. Right? We want to be their voice. But the problem is, I do not know how to help them. So, can the higher authorities help the teachers? Can the universities help the teachers? Can the academic staff colleges help the teachers? Can we have workshops with Madras Dyslexia Association or any other people? Can universities have Center for Empowerment for PWD? How many of you really know the meaning of remedial classes? How many of teachers have undergone the courses to understand what is special learning disability? Can universities and colleges be a platform for public, especially the mothers, the women who want to empower their children, who want to empower themselves by empowering their family? Because end of the day, everything comes on the heads of the woman. And I'm really, really thankful to the Center for Women Empowerment of Manonmaniam University, because she was, she was ready to combine this topic here. Because end of the day, the mother is the one who runs to the government hospitals. The mother is the one who goes, gets a scolding from the teachers. Mother is the one who, knocks the doors of everybody, everyone. Can we empower them? Do we have a bank or list of volunteers who can do all these things? And once we understand it is a spectrum, it is not a single problem. Are we ready to understand all these things? Can we listen? Can we at least prepare ourselves? Can we collaborate? Can we learn the best practices from other colleges, other universities? Can we seek the help of media to give scribe extra time, design website, reservation, all these things I had spoken earlier? Can we do? Honestly, a hassle-free, hurdle-free environment to PWD students is important, because they need our voice, and their voices are very, very, very feeble, and the mother's voices are even more feeble. A listening heart and a strong hand is enough to help them. And with that, I take, that's the only thing that I wanted to say. A listening heart who can listen to the people with intellectual disabilities, who can listen to the mother of the people with intellectual disabilities, and a strong hand. Strong hand. It's not a weak hand. It's a strong hand. If you're not strong, make yourself very strong. And there are people to help you, to make you stronger. Yes, with that, I say thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for informative address.
Thank you, ma'am.
It is a thought-provoking address you have given us, and you have concluded that there is a need for a listening heart and a strong hand to help the people. And this webinar, by your address, certainly will create more listening hearts and strong hands joining together to help the people, ma'am. Thank you for accepting our invitation and having spared nearly 1 hour with us for this webinar, ma'am.
My pleasure. Anyone who needs to make their hands strong, please contact.
Sure,
because
ma'am.
Definitely, I am there to do my small bit.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your willingness to help people. The way to whatever the gratitude we like to give to God, we'll have to give it to the persons who deserve it. The help we do to human beings is the gratitude we give away to the Almighty. Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful address. Thank you, my dear participants, for all your support for the programs organized by the Center for Women Empowerment and Women's Studies of Manonmaniam Sundaranar University. Tomorrow is the final day of our 7 days webinar. And tomorrow, kindly don't fail to submit your feedback forms. While filling your feedback forms, be cautious that you give the correct mail ID so that you'll get your certificates in the Google Drive. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, once again for all your support to our programs.
I'll take your leave, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.